You can pre-order Modern Horizons 3 using my link in the description. So, doing our first Modern Horizons 3 draft, we have a pretty good rare, but not an amazing one. You know, it's good against non-creature, non-land permanents, less impressive if there aren't any. I do like Grim Servant a lot. 4 mana, 3/2 menace, tutors up a card. Usually 1 mana or more. Pretty much always 1 mana or more. I do like the Auxiliary a lot, too. I think it's one of the better commons in the set. Same for Fanged Flames. I think Servant, Auxiliary, and Flames are probably all better than Thief of Existence. Maybe Signature Slam, too. Not a Medallion fan. I don't think these are good in Limited. So, let's see. Where do I want to go here? I'm kind of leaning towards Amazing Removal, and I think that's just where I'm going to go. This card is like useless in Limited because it checks the command zone. So, yeah. Fledgling Dragon's not awesome either from the bonus sheet. These are both bonus sheet cards. Different bonus sheets, but yeah. So Ember Mage is pretty interesting. I'm kind of tempted to take it and see what we can do. Because it's this cool, it's a common legendary creature, comes into play, does 4 to something, and then if you draw your extras, they turn into Fire Blast, which is pretty hilarious. There's also Horrific Assault, which is like a great common. We've seen a couple of good modal double face cards, but I don't think they've been better than the non-modal double face cards we've seen. I'm tempted by this Ember Mage. I do really want to try it out. I know Horrific Assault is good, you know what I mean? So let's take the Ember Mage and see what happens. Okay, another good modal card. Another Ember Mage, though. Should we just go hard on an Ember Mage deck here? I kind of want to. Yeah. It's a little memey, maybe, and I think if I were being ultra serious, I'd probably take Area Auxiliary or Boggart Trawler, but, you know, going with a bunch of Ember Mages seems like fun, too. seems more fun. I also think Wither and Bloom's probably better than Ember Mage, so we've got at least 3 cards here that I think are usually better. Basking Brute Scale's one of them, too. But yeah, we'll take the Ember Mage. Let's be red. I don't wonder, at some point I'm going to get enough of them that like an actual burn deck is worth considering. And there are some direct damage spells. Fanged Flame is unfortunately not a direct damage spell. But yeah. Well, this is what we're doing with our first draft. It's been decided. We're taking all the Ember Mages. So, if I were being more serious here... Actually, I think in this pack it might have been an Ember Mage, even if I'm being serious. Worn Power Stone's pretty good. I'm interested to see how the Gargantua does, but yeah, so... Keep the Ember Mages flowing. I want to cast Fire Blast on Magic Arena. Don't we all want to cast Fire Blast? Free burn spells are legit, you know. It's actually a good card, too. So I think they didn't make it too good. Like, if it was 5 mana 4/4 for this ETB, it would be too good to also have this other mode. But the way they designed it, I think, is just right. It feels all right to me, anyway. We probably want to be paired with green, because ramp. So that's something to keep in mind. And I think we'll go ahead and take this. I think this is maybe the best of the modal double face, certainly of the dual colored ones, because it's like a good removal spell that's also fixing. So yeah, it's an easy pick here. Skoa Ember Mage. What's the flavor there? I guess there's a Goblin on Fire Blast, isn't there? This is the Goblin on Fire Blast, probably. Is probably what they're trying to say to us. Ooh, another good one of these. We do need some, like, early plays, you know? Like, you know, Void Pouncer. But Blood-Soaked Insight is more fixing and just a good modal double face card. Ironworks, if it's gonna work, is gonna work in like blue-red and nowhere else, probably. Void Pouncer might be like the safer pickup here, but we'll take Blood-Soaked Insight here. Green is probably the optimal color to pair ourselves with because of ramping. Red does have access to some of the tokens, the Eldrazi spawn. Okay, might take Priest. I mean, on her own, she's a 2-mana 1/1 that taps for, you know, green, which is fine. And if we get some more elves, she gets better. Gravedig's a fun card. And Sink into Stupor. Probably both what I would take ahead of the Priest if we weren't sort of forcing this silly Ember Mage deck. You know, this is a reason to think about going like really hard into red, because it's like a really good card, and it's fun that it's 3 Mog Fanatics, of course. Skyclaw might be the safer pick, but man, if I can go like mostly red, Mog Mob is quite good. Certainly better than Thriving Skyclaw. Let's go ahead and take it. Okay, so here we've got a black-green double-faced land, and I think we take it. I do like Grim Servant, but if we're going like the route we are right now, I don't think we want it. I do think it's first pickable, and so probably shouldn't still be here. And probably won't be as the format gets going, because it's a 4-mana 3/2 menace that draws you a card. So okay, so I do need some early drops. The Hydra can do it. I think it's probably better than Fledgling Dragon, so it does cost double green to bestow, but that's okay. Perilous Landscape is the blue-red-white one, huh? Well, I guess I'll take a Trawler on the off chance we end up in, like, red-green. Okay, so this is a card that can ramp us, so I think we go ahead and take it pretty happily. You know, it's not great to hit our expensive cards with Glimpse the Impossible, but it can get us to our Skoa Ember Mages on, like, turn 4, so, you know. Well, why you gotta do this to me? So, it's pretty hard not to take a Johnny here and consider going red-white, because it's just an incredibly, incredibly good card. You know, most of our cards are red, or cards that aren't red overall aren't that good, other than Stump Stomp, which we can still play. But yeah, Johnny's really, really good. Can't really say no to it. Maybe if there was another Skoa in this pack, I'd consider it. But it's too good. So we'll see what happens.
Fight beside me, brother.
But yeah. Wirewood Symbiote is a combo with Priest of Titania, but you kind of need a lot of elves to really get it going. That's a combo in Legacy that's now going to be legal in Modern. So Warped Tusker ramps us if we're trying to go green. The white cards here aren't great. You know, they're not bad either, but they're not great. Static Prison and Mandibular Kite. Yeah, I'm considering Tusker. I think it's where I'm going to go. Siege Smash is a pretty good trick. I could consider just taking it, but it's not like we're a legit aggro deck at this point. Distinguished Conjurer. It's not bad. Another Ember Mage. Are we just going to take a 4th Ember Mage? The only person I saw the name of clearly was that Lord Tupperware's in this pod, too. Brute Scale does give us more things, but we got to take Ember Mages. We're like in a stipulation draft at this point, so so that's what we're taking. We're definitely red, you know. Beyond that, who knows? I mean, I'd kind of like to be white. If I can get enough Glimpse the Impossibles, I can maybe rationalize going mono red, because then I have the ramp to get to Skoa more quickly. Okay, probably take Static Prison here. I mean, right now we're not that good at generating... Well, never mind. We've got a Brood Scale here, don't we? Yeah, we'll just take the Brood Scale. You know, a Johnny even on the splash isn't bad. So if we could pick up some fixing that works for a Johnny, maybe that's the route we go. But the Brood Scale can ramp us, and it's just a good 2-drop, and we certainly need them. I do like Cursed Wombat a lot. I think it's a really strong signpost in common. And I like the Void Craw, too. If we weren't red, you know... It's like great ramp, but Okay, so there's a Titan's Vanguard here, which does stuff with, like, if we have a bunch of spawns and things, and it's just like a strong card in general. I wouldn't hate to pick up a 2-drop, but I think we go Vanguard here. I also like the Repast, okay. So right now, it feels like we're red-green, and maybe we'll try to splash a Johnny. And yeah, we're like an Ember Mage deck or something. So Repurposer gives us some spawns, which can help ramp us. So I think that's what we take here. I think it's a little better than the Tusker overall. Yeah, there's an Expanding Ooze. All right, we do have a Glimpse here, and they're pretty good with... like, they're better if you have a low curve, which we kind of don't, but they do give us spawns, and that makes it hard for me to say no. Especially because this pack doesn't really have anything else useful for us, so... Okay, bunch of red cards. Ooh, I like this one a lot. Man, given what our deck looks like, having cheap removal is kind of important, but this card, I think, is too good to say no to. You know, it seems like a bomb level uncommon to me. Kills a couple things in Chapter 1, Chapter 2 nets you some cards, and Chapter 3 gives you a body. So, alright, we will take a 2-drop here over a 6-drop, so I think we're pretty set on the 6-drops at this point. Probably don't get to play Mog Mob, sadly. Alright. Don't really want the Symbiote. Like, it's real bad in Limited. It's not like I can cast Glimpse of Nature or something. I guess I'll grab a Static Prison. Yeah, red does seem really open if we're getting Raw in the Implicit Maze. Or maybe I'm really high on it and none of the other content creator people are, but... we'll see. This is a pretty good land. I doubt we play it, but, like, all of those lands are pretty good, and this one might be the best. It is kind of harder to get going, but the payoff of Connive is pretty legit. Yeah, this Saga is not a good one. It's kind of a bummer. I think, like, 3 of those 5 Sagas seem kind of bad in Limited. I mean, it's not all about Limited, right? But... the red one and the green one are, like, the only 2 that I think is really nice. Man. See, if I'd opened Pack-What, Pick One, Aether Revolt, we probably would have gone down a different crazy path where we took, like, everything that makes energy. But we're not there. So Malevolent Rumble's nice for what we're doing. It adds a little body to the board, gives us some card selection. I think we probably take it here. Skyclaw and Smash and Revolt are, you know, this is really good if you can build around it, but, you know. Alright. Sylvan Safekeeper can protect our Ember Mages. Another Raw in the Implicit Maze. Do I want that more than I want a Brood Scale? Probably. Our curve's looking kind of okay now. I think I can get away with it. I mean, we're going to be playing 5s and 6s and stuff, but... some more ramp is what we really need to really secure things for us, but we're doing okay on it, thanks to our spawn tokens, but... you know, if we can cast Raw in the Implicit Maze on, like, turn 4, then we'll be pretty happy. And that's not, like, a crazy outcome. Ajani is looking... less and less likely. Yeah, we might pick up some fixing, but right now... he is the kind of card where we know he's really good, so it's not exactly, you know, crazy. So this is interesting. It ramps us. We can have it enter as a copy of Skoa Ember Mage for the ETB. Obviously, the other one would die, but it's kind of cool. Twisted Landscape does help us with the Johnny a little, but I'm kind of tempted to try out Cursed Mirror. For one thing, it's from, like, a Doctor Who set or something, so I've never played with it in Limited. And for another, if there's a deck for it, it's probably this one. So I think I'm going to take it. Yeah, I mean, one piece of fixing is not going to be enough to play a Johnny. And, you know, if I don't pick one up now, things could go badly a little bit later, but... It's a Barbarian Ring. I don't hate it, although I like it a heck of a lot less in a deck that is going to be as slow as ours. Oh, it's from a commander set? Okay. Still haven't played with it in Limited, obviously. Ooh, never mind. We want Nightshade Dryad. 2-drop that ramps us. I almost took a Barbarian Ring. What am I thinking? Ajani is a 2-drop, but Ajani's also good all game. So... it's not a huge deal. So here's the other Saga I said is actually good. And I do think it is. Not as good as Raw in the Implicit Maze, but I think we take it over a Glimpse. And over Foreboding Landscape, which doesn't help us at all anyway. So Johnny's probably not going to make it, but that's okay. We know he's good. We don't know if jamming 4 Skoa Ember Mages into your deck is good. That's what we don't know. So, you know, man, if we could make that work, that would be nice. I think we'd probably take Evolution Witness. Not quite as good as Eternal Witness, but a fun callback. The Gatekeeper's interesting, but 5th Skoa would be pretty awesome. That's for sure. Flooded Strand doesn't do anything for us. Don't love the Oozewag, but I also don't love Gift of the Viper. So... I mean, I think the Oozewag's a fine card. It just doesn't really do anything for our deck. Solar Transformer. Okay. Skyclaw. Do I like it more than Siege Smash? Probably. So, Flare of Duplication. We don't have that many spells that doubling is that exciting. We do have this, which can actually help us fix for Ajani, and if we pick up, like, one other random piece of fixing, I think we try to play Ajani. This one doesn't do it. Don't play Foul Strike. Yeah, I did pass the green-white one a couple times. You're right about that. I don't think we want Barbarian Ring in this deck. I like it in a lot of red decks, but not this one. I did pass a couple of those green-white lands. You're right. I remembered it for the ones we did take, but I did sort of glaze over the fact that they could have helped us. But... you know, I think we ended up with a fun deck, at least. So how many modal double-face lands do we end up with? We have 1 Blood-Soaked Insight and 1 Stomp Stump and 1 Revitalizing Repast. That probably means we can cut 1 land, and we probably don't run the landscape. And then we need to cut 4 more cards. It doesn't really feel like Oozewag's doing what we need it to. We probably don't need these glimpses. You know, when I was thinking maybe we end up in red-white instead of red-green is when I was thinking we needed them. But it's pretty bad in our deck if we hit Ember Mages early and stuff like that. I don't think we want to cut another land in a deck that's this mana hungry. I think in a lot of decks you could cut another land, but I don't think we want to do it. We do need more mountains than forests, generally speaking, yeah. I think 8 is fine, but it does make our Ember Mage better if we have more of them. Do we have any other sweet combos for Cursed Mirror other than Skoa, which honestly isn't even that sweet because it comes into play, does the ETB, and then dies, but, you know, that's okay. The Hydra's not great. Ooh, there's a Gift to the Viper randomly here. Yeah, we don't want that. I think everything else is fine. Everything else makes sense. Did we end up with any other elves? I kind of don't think we did. Oh, we do have one somewhere. Titan's Vanguard with Cursed Mirror is pretty good too, yeah. So this is kind of a 3. I think this is where we go in the end. Looks interesting. We'll find out whether or not it's good. But, that's the point, right? To, oh, I don't have the chat on the... I had the chat box off that whole time. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I only had it off on the other screen. It's too bad we only got 4 Skoas, you know? We should have gone a full 5. Alright. This is probably a hand where I just play this tapped on turn 1. Like, we need mana enough in this deck that I think that's probably it. The plan. And it's not like saving Skoa is the idea here. Well, that's a problem. I can't currently kill it, and it goes out of control real fast. Gains them a bunch of life, and then can put counters on things. They do need 3 energy, but, like, it's going to get them there pretty fast. Do I just want to play Solar Transformer? I'm not under a ton of pressure just yet, and the Transformer does really get our mana going, so I think we probably play the Transformer. We'll be up to 4 mana next turn, and we can play Brood Scale and Rumble. And then the next turn we can play Ember Mage. So hopefully we can kill the guide before anything happens. I could also just put a counter on this right away, which might just be better, I guess. Oh, they can do this right away because they played the Slith. Gross. That is gross. Ow. Okay. If only they couldn't buff that thing right away, then Rawl in the Implicit Maze, although we don't have double... Oh, yeah, we do. We do have double red. So, do I want to Rumble or just play Brood Scale and hold on to the ability to put the counter on it? I think we play Brood Scale. Yeah, hopefully they don't play another card that gives them 3 energy here. Yeah, let's play the Brood Scale. It can actually block the Slith right now. If I hold up mana, then, you know. So yeah, we can play Ember Mage next turn to kill the guide. That's the hope here. Yeah. That's a little bit of a problem, but not a massive one, honestly. They can't give it... So if I block the Hexgold Slith here, this will come into play as a 2/2. I think that's fine. Why would I not make one? Okay. So we get to play our first Skoa here. Kapow! Nice. They couldn't attack us. The bummer here is that Rawl in the Implicit Maze doesn't actually kill anything. Don't love that. What's Malevolent Rumble here? Okay, we could grab another Skoa and just threaten to Fire Blast from now on. Yeah, let's do it. I actually think just attacking with Skoa here is better than the whole Fire Blast thing is. Because I can play Skoa next turn again and do 4 without having to give up any mana, which right now we don't really want to do. Yeah. And we can always do it. It's instant speed, so in an emergency we can still go that route. Do I trade here? Because eventually that's going to get big enough that it's kind of a problem. I think we probably trade our Skyclaw for the Glyph Elemental. So we have 8 direct damage in our hand right now. Although we don't, because we've only got 2 mountains. Okay. I wonder if I'm just supposed to play Raw in the Implicit Maze to get it going, but probably not. I'm kind of thinking I might just play another one to kill one of these. And then I lose my Ember Mage, of course, but that's kind of okay. Especially because I've only got 2 mountains anyway right now, so... I'm being greedy and waiting until they play something I can kill with this, but I should probably just get the clock started on Raw in the Implicit Maze at some point. I've got a Plane Cycle. Yes, something I can kill with my Ember Mage. My greed pays off. I mean, Raw in the Implicit Maze, that is. Another mountain is good. I don't think I'm going to discard. I probably should have held on to that land, actually. I should have held on to a land so that I could have discarded it. I played it thinking I'd need the mana, but I don't really. We do have Ember Mage ready to go if something really scary happens here. That's a little scary. Yeah, it drops me to 9. They can attack me down to 6 here. They decide not to. Is it worth preserving my life right now to just give this up? Probably not. Probably not. We'll go to 7. Ooh. Is it worth discarding Titan's Vanguard here? I can actually potentially do lethal this turn if they decided to take both, but they're not going to. I think maybe I don't discard anything. Both of these are pretty good. So, I'm going to decline. We're going to attack with Ember Mage, and if they block this one, we play the other one to kill their Gatekeeper. I don't quite have lethal. Skoa only does 4, so I can drop them to 1. If I played the Vanguard and buffed this, and then they just didn't block the Eldrazi spawn, I would have had lethal, but there's, like, no way that happens. So I decided not to do that. I can, however, play out the Vanguard here and discard the Ember Mage to kill Voltstorm Angel, which is probably a good idea. That's probably our best play here, yeah. So, I think we just do it now to avoid tricks. So I think we're just going to do it now. So this time we get a 2-3. Have we drawn all of our Skoas? No, we have one left. So if I'd played optimally, Rala and the Implicit Maze would have given me some more value, most likely. But that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. They can almost do lethal here. Thanks to the 2 Gatekeepers. One more creature and we're dead. Which would be real sad. I think we just swing out here. Then we have 2 bodies to block. I mean, they have to block here too, so... Actually, we'll have 3 bodies to block, because this makes 1. Big old Trampler. That is probably their best way to block, and yeah, if they can just play a... They have to play 2 creatures here to kill us. They don't have another Unearth, so we're okay. Oh, should have played those first. Suboptimal yet again. Oh, they kill us! Because they have another Inspired Inventor. How sad is that? Our deck did like exactly what we wanted it to, and we still lost, which is sad. Man. So sad. I mean, it feels like a win just because we got to do all sorts of stuff with Skoa. And yeah, they're like turn 1 play into turn 2. Angel hits us in the face. Was rough. It was rough. Yeah, it's a keeper because of our Transformer. You know, early in that game, or earlier anyway, I guess it wasn't early per se, but early in that game we were thinking about blocking to preserve our life, and you know, if we'd done that a little more, we might have been okay in that game. I can't block this thing anyway, so I think we'll just run out the Transformer. Uh-oh. So, they are a legit artifact deck, but we can play Skoa next turn, now that we drew green. So yeah, let's Rumble. Okay, I guess we'll just grab another mountain while we're at it here. And then play Nightshade Dryad. I mean, we're playing turn 4 Skoas, so if it doesn't work when you're doing that consistently, then maybe Skoa is not a great idea. Double Cranial Rams. So, I have enough mana without Nightshade Dryad. So I'm kind of thinking we kill this thing. I mean, they still have the Cranial Ram, which is really bad news for us, but we're going to kill the Pteramander. Yeah, so let's block. And then play Skoa. We can play Evolution Witness and get back Skoa if they kill it here. So I mean, if they just suit this up and attack, we block. There's no way that's not the plan, you know? So, alright. So options here, options. So I could play out a huge Void Pouncer and just attack them with it, which I don't hate. The Etched Slith is going to be a problem, though. I can't block it, obviously, right now. Could play the Witness and get back Nightshade Dryad. Yeah, we could try to start racing, but I feel like that's a race we're going to lose because of Cranial Ram and Menace. But it's not a terrible plan, I guess. Oops. It is when you click incorrectly. Okay. I am going to go ahead and attack with Skoa. Then I'm going to play Repurposer. I mean, that turn's okay, but probably not as good as the turn where we play a kicked Void Pouncer. We definitely block Etched Slith here if it rumbles. Might just block them both. Because I do have Evolution Witness in my hand. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. So, let's attack with Skoa. I could just outright kill this Transmigrant here, because then they don't have an attack this turn, and then I could still play Evolution Witness. Yeah. I can adapt at instant speed here if I have to. Party Thrasher is pretty good. And they have another one. Okay. That's our other elf. Where are other Skoas? Come on. Come on, Skoas. Man, I guess I could have adapted. I'm playing very suboptimally. I mean, you know, it's first draft of a new format. But if I'd adapted the Witness, I could have gotten back Void Pouncer and kicked it if I sacked my spawn. And then I would have attacked, like, super hard. Alas, that isn't what we did. So the question is whether I should do something different here. I mean, I'd probably still try to play Void Pouncer next turn. Yeah, so let's play out our Priest and in the turn. So they get some nice card selection here, unfortunately. Uh-oh. Yeah, they're making our lives more difficult. Last game, I don't think we actually lost because I played suboptimally. If we lose this one, we might. That might be what happened. So let's adapt our Evolution Witness here. Because if I'd done the whole Void Pouncer thing last turn, would have been a very different world that we're looking at right now. All right, so let's kick it correctly this time, huh? Am I just supposed to swing with Evolution Witness, Void Pouncer, and Skoa here? Kind of feels like I'm supposed to. Okay, go ahead and kill both of those. So they're gonna go to 3 here. We are a Skoa away from winning. It's true. It's very true. They have a freaking Party Thrasher in play, but we're also me correctly kicking our creature earlier from winning. So, so you know, that's something, I guess. They hit a Gravedigg. They can play it and kick it right now, can't they? It's a pretty good card because it'll give them a body and get a creature back from the graveyard. We do have 3 Skoas left in our 22-card deck. So as long as we can just, like, not die, we've got a good chance at finding lethal. And right now, we're not that close to dying. I mean, they do have a huge... They have Cranial Ram in play, which creates some problems, but... I think we probably attack here, because if they block... Yeah, so we still... And if we kill Party Thrasher, that is A-okay with me. So, stop their incessant card draw. Yeah, no, we kill Party Thrasher. We've had enough of that. Gross, that has lifelink. No. Come on, Skoa. I have to draw you now or we probably lose at this point. Oh, I didn't do it. However, I can block and sack Eldrazi's spawn to keep them from gaining life. So we're not out of it yet. We are not out of it yet. We got a couple more swings that we can handle here. Thank God it doesn't have trample. And I forgot to make a spawn there. Okay. We can only take one more swing here to try and draw Skoa, so interesting. So we need to draw another card that makes spawns, or Skoa, or we probably lose this game. That's brutal. Oh, man. We're running fewer than normal number of lands here. We'll probably draw Skoa now. No, we won't. We'll draw another land. We'll let him kill us. We also played poorly in this game. Played poorly in both games, and our opponent was close to dead. So I can't blame all of the all of it on bad luck, because I I made some, especially in that second game, if we had kicked our 3-1 on like 2 different occasions into a 5-3 trample haste, we would have killed them before they ever got that worm in play. So we did draw horribly late, but like... they should have been dead for other reasons, so... Okay. This is a less than awesome hand. Kind of feels like I might have to play Stump Stomp as a land here. Yeah, that makes me more willing to play it as a land since I drew some removal. Kind of leaning towards killing the Brood Scale. Instead of playing the Priest. I mean... yeah, we'll go ahead and kill it. Hello, Nitro's Mob. Glad you enjoy the set reviews. I kind of feel like our Skoas are laughing at us now. Let's get this started. So they're actually similar to ours. I don't know whether they went the Skoa route like we did, but... what can I tutor up for 3? If I decided I wanted to tutor something up. Gross. Well, it's not looking great here. Crap. So if I tutor up an elf next turn, and we do have a 3-mana elf, and I draw a land, I can play Skoa and kill the Repurposer before it gets too big. Yeah. We did draw a land. We make an insect. Oh, we have to wait another turn. Shoot. Kind of forgot. We can play our own Vanguard. We can also play Ra on the Implicit Maze, but it's every time we've had it, it's been kind of bad for us. It's been awkward, that's for sure. Yeah, so we're going to do this. I do feel like there's certainly been some bad luck at play and bad play at play. So, you know, we can't... oh my god! Yeah, that's... we're just dead. We are just dead. Maybe I should have killed the Trampler. How sad. Yeah, the Vanguard's uncommon. In the other games, we were able to play Skoa, like, way ahead of schedule, and then in this game, we just didn't do it. I can at least sack Skoa to Fire Blast. It's true. Uh... And we're dead. We knew this deck wasn't necessarily going to be good, but we did, and I, you know, definitely would have won game 2 if I hadn't played poorly, and, yeah. We did do, like, exactly what we wanted the deck to do in game 1 and 2, though, and still didn't win, so I don't know. You know, it's a small sample size. It's hard to say anything with certainty, but it was still fun to draft a bunch of Skoas, so we did.